Roastmaster, Dean Martin. And tonight's very special Man of the Week, the Governor of the State of California, Honorable Ronald Reagan.
Beautiful. Thank you. When I first learned we were honoring Governor Reagan tonight, first thing I did was call all his friends. That didn't take too long. Personally, I don't understand the man we're honoring tonight. For years, he was on TV as the host of Death Valley Days, where every week he worked with a team of mules. From there, he stepped into something soft. Politics. In all his picture career, he never made an X-rated movie. His pictures were rated M. You couldn't get in to see one unless you were accompanied by a moron. His movies were so bad, they were shown at drive-outs. There's a lot of your friends and admirers who couldn't be here tonight. However, they sent you telegram. I'd like to read some of them now. The first one is from the editor of Playgirl magazine. Dear Governor Reagan, we wonder if you would consider posing nude for the centerfold of our next issue. We feel that the American public would love to see a politician who has nothing to hide. Finally, here's a telegram from the President. President Nixon, dear Governor Reagan, I'm sorry I couldn't come to your roast tonight. Dean invited me, but I don't trust anybody named Dean anymore. Ladies and gentlemen, Jackie Vernon.
Tonight I have, as a tribute to you, compiled a series of slides depicting the highlights of your career. Here you are doing your first bit part in the movies. Here's an actress showing the police the part you bit. Governor, here you are winning your first gubernatorial race. And here's the goob who came in second. Finally, here you are during your last campaign, lending President Nixon your support. And here's President Nixon wearing it. Thank you, Governor, and good luck.
Ladies and gentlemen, Miss Phyllis Diller.
Governor Reagan has always been a fabulous person. He started out as an underweight, inexperienced, untalented dishwasher in Tampico, Illinois. Unfortunately, he never lived up to this early promise. But he's been a terrific governor, and I'll never forget, the last time Ronnie ran for office, I saw a pregnant woman wearing a campaign button that said, "Reagan's the man." Ronnie, I want to thank you for one thing. If you ever get to be president, and I think you may, and there's a depression, try not to have it at a bad time, like when everybody's out of work. And he's so popular with the ladies. When his limousine pulled up in front of the studio tonight, a woman started screaming, "Ronald, he's here! It's Ronald Reagan! He's here! The governor's here!" I thought Nancy would never shut up.
And now, Governor Reagan, here to pay tribute to you is a man you recently appointed to the state's Supreme Court. We're very honored to have him here tonight, Justice Angelo Beduzzi.
I'm so glad to be here. You're like one of my family, Garish. Before continuing, may I offer my condolences to the loved ones of your opponent in the last election. I understand he met with an unfortunate accident. Tomorrow night at 8 o'clock.
Thank you, Don Galloway. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Pat Henry.
The last time I saw Sammy Davis, it's the wrong roast. Before I start, Governor, would you like to confess anything? You can talk into the flowers, they're bugged. But I admire everything this man has done for the state of California. And I say that because I live in New York. When I was growing up in New York, I had an uncle, Fungi, who loved to vote. Man, he'd be at the voting booths at 2 in the morning, and he'd vote, and he'd vote, and he'd vote. You could have used him. He was such a beauty. I've never figured how you look at this man, have tears in his eyes, and he said to me, "Oh, if I was only a citizen, you'd really see some voting." And I hear all this talk about Governor Ronald Reagan trying for the White House in '76. But with all respect to you, Governor, I must tell you, you're wasting your time. How can you aspire to such a high office? You've never even had a good scandal attached to your name. No cheating, no lying, no boozing, no bugging, no running around with wild broads. Who's going to trust a politician like that?
Guest is Mark Spitz, a young man who won 7 gold medals in last year's Olympics. Just got married, Mark did. Instead of a honeymoon, he and his bride swam upstream and spawned. Ladies and gentlemen, a great athlete, Mark Spitz.
You know, Governor, you and I had very similar careers. You started out as an athlete, and so did I. And as a matter of fact, you became an actor, and so did I. Now, if it turns out that I can't act either, who would I talk to about becoming governor?
Most few people don't know. Mark wasn't always Jewish, but he was out swimming one day and ran into a swordfish.
This guy's great.
Jack Benny is here tonight on a political mission. He's trying to get the governor to pass a new bill creating a senior citizens discount at massage parlors. I could say many things about Jack, but that would only take time. He can't stay long. He only put a penny in the parking meter. Mr. Jack Benny.
Thank you, Dean. Ladies and gentlemen, I would like to say that Greg Garrison, the producer of this show, told me I only have 4 minutes to talk. Well, that's impossible. I stare longer than that. And now, as long as I only have 4 minutes to speak, I will devote my time to our guest of honor, Governor Reagan. I was going to say Governor Ronald Reagan, but with 4 minutes. Ronald Reagan has done a great job for California, although in all fairness to Pat Brown, when Pat was governor, we didn't have earthquakes. Now, ladies and gentlemen, you may remember that Governor Reagan appeared on my last television show. It was called Jack Benny's First Farewell Special. And because we were such good friends, the governor agreed to come on my show for nothing. And I accepted. After all, what are friends for? Anyhow, with only 4 minutes, I certainly could not say all the wonderful things about Ronnie that I would like to. But I do have an idea. Check your local papers daily for my next television special. And if I am successful in making the same deal with the governor, I will continue this speech on my show. Thank you.
Jack's been doing these functions for years. If you look closely at the painting of the Last Supper, Jack is the third from the left. Tonight we thought it would be interesting to invite someone who knew the governor when he was a young boy growing up in Tampico, Illinois. So what we did was locate the governor's first grade elementary school teacher, and we flew her in from Illinois to be with us. Ladies and gentlemen, honoring us with her presence this evening, Miss Maud Frickett.
What a kiss-off that was. Well, thank you, Mr. Martin, for bringing me out on the bus. I would imagine the other stars flew in an airplane. Being with Fred McMurray was a joy. What a fabulous dinner this has been so far. Flowers and popcorn. Ronnie, I don't know where to begin. There's so much to say to you, and to know that, you know, back in Tampico, I was 19 years old, and you were about 12. When I look at you and I think how gray my hair is and how sandy yours is. I would imagine you touch it just a little, don't you, Ronnie? What a joy you were. And you know, Mr. Hotchberger, you remember him? He's dead. And, you know, when you came to me and said, "Oh, Miss Frickert, I want to go to college," and I thought of all the great universities that Ronnie could have gone to here in the country we have. And he chose Eureka. Where the hell is Eureka?
lot of research on Governor Reagan, and we found out something about him that very few people know. You see, Ronald Reagan has a twin brother, and we brought him here tonight. Would you all please welcome Donald Reagan?
With your hair like that than you did in a natural afro? Oh, it's wonderful to see you now. I always loved Ronnie. Yes, I did. Even though he was the white sheep of the family, I loved him. You might not believe that Ronnie and I could be brothers. It was like this. When we were kids, we were naughty, right? And one day our dad was chasing us. He wanted to spank us. He said, if I catch you, I'm going to tan your hide. Ronnie got away.
Ladies and gentlemen, would you please welcome the First Lady of California, the lovely and gracious Miss Nancy Reagan.
Thank you, Dean. I really don't have anything to add to what's already been said tonight. I really don't think I could. But it's a very proud and happy night for me, and so I just thought that I couldn't let it go by without coming by and giving a kiss to the man I love.
I don't know why she did that. I was going to vote for him again anyway.
Thank you, Miss Reagan. And now we come to Don Rickles. You know, a lot of people wonder why Don is so mean. There's a reason for that. You see, he's been that way ever since he found out Eva Braun was just two-timing him. Here he is, the star of the last 10 days of Rickles, Don Rickles.
The greatest thing I can say to Governor Reagan or Regan, whatever they call, what do they call you, Governor? The greatest moment I remember in your career was when you said to Pat O'Brien, the Gipper is dying. And I got an uncle that thought it was a fish. Now, the Gentile gentleman here had no idea. A kipper. That's a Jewish fish. Don't be dumb. I hate a dumb guy. He wouldn't be governor if my people didn't go, okay. There's always one dumb guy in the audience. And you're probably important. My luck, you'll be the president of NBC. Isn't this fun, Governor, huh? Better than trying to hit Jess Unruh with your car. Those of you from all around the United States, Jess Unruh is a great Democratic candidate who opposed many things that the governor did, and he's a great politician, and the governor will be the first to agree. And that's what makes our country so fantastic. That we have different people, as I do. I stand on a stage or on a lectern, or I stand here next to Dean Martin, one of the great guys, and I say this from my heart, Dean. You have a problem. And the governor is the great politician of all time. He laughs at anything. My brother died. I tell you out there, America, our governor is dumb. That's a joke, Governor. Can you see it when this show is off the air and the governor's over the room with three guys from the state troopers? All right, Jew, let's hear the joke about the governor. Let's Let's hear the one about him being dumb. Let's go. I don't know who you are in the middle, but you're starting to get on my nerves. There's one guy with a honker that's sucking up his lip. My luck, this will be Richard Nixon's bodyguard. They talked about you, my dear friend and honorable governor. And, sir, we've never met formally, as we've said before. But I will never forget the stories I've heard that you standing on the White House lawn, throwing rocks at Richard Nixon's window going, Dick! Don't beg, don't beg. Tell him like a man. You're an actor. Phony it up. Just stand on the lawn and say, move out of there! Is this too fast for you, Dean? Dean Martin came from Youngstown, Ohio. Is that right, Dean? Steubenville. Why, that's better? You, Governor, are a great man. You can tell because you don't see many governors with clip-on bow ties. Hey, fun is fun. There are many people that are planted around here to look like they enjoy this. But Dean Martin said to me when Governor Reagan or Regan, whatever they call you, Reagan, I don't care. What do I care what they call you? You're the governor, and if I got a cousin getting the chair, you better make that phone call. But I say this from my heart, Governor. I've met you once in the hallway at NBC, as you remember. And I'll never forget your words. Get out of the way, kid. I kid you, sir. You are a politician. Black, white, Jew, Gentile. We're all working for one cause. To figure out how you became governor.
Just want to say, Don, your speech ran longer than your last series. Ladies and gentlemen, the governor of the state of California, Ronald Reagan.
Thank you very much, Dean. I've listened to the entire show. And the best thing I can do to show my appreciation to all of you is to invoke executive privilege. I refuse to release the tape. I know that you all realize, without my having to tell you, that in the job I have now, you have to make a great many decisions. And let me just say about the decision I made with regard to tonight. With hindsight, to the best of my recollection, at this point in time, I really goofed. But it was the Dean Martin show or daytime television with Sam Urban. But when you imagine, though, all these people, Mark Spitz showing up, all dried off. Mark, my daughter is going to be so thrilled. You've really had an impact. I don't mind her swilling all that milk, but now she's trying to grow a mustache. And I'm thrilled to have Jack Benny here. We've known each other since we were both 39. Jack's no tightwad. That too's part of the act. On my last birthday, he gave me a set of the Encyclopedia Britannica, paperback. And then there are some men who achieve fame and go beyond that to become veritable household words. Now, Don Rickles is such a man. He has become a household word, the kind they erase in X-rated movies. to be here on the Dean Martin Show. Dean and I have a lot in common. About the same size. We both like horses, like golf. Of course, we both made a lot of movies. The only difference is I knew when to quit. No, Dean's had a fabulous career. Stop to think of it, vaudeville, nightclubs, recordings, movies, television, and to think he won't even know it all happened to him until he sobers up. Well, enough of this. I'm honored, grateful to all these wonderful people, seriously, and grateful to you, ladies and gentlemen. I asked Nancy what I should say when I came out here, and she told me to just say something warm and gracious and sit down. So, gracious, wasn't it warm in here tonight?
The symbol of quality entertainment, Guthy-Renker Video.